and welcome to 90 Minutes. It's Monday the 31st of August. I'm Symon Allemandy, and as ever, I'm joined by my co-host Pete Hill. Evening, Pete. Have you had a nice bank holiday weekend?
Yeah, I had a freezing one. We'll tell you all about that at Watson Park on Saturday. It's the 31st of August today. Tell you on Saturday, it could have been the 31st of December. It was absolutely freezing. You know what? On Saturday, my heating cut in. What's that all about?
To be honest, Saturday evening when I got in, I put my heating on as well. So you wasn't the only one.
Dear, oh dear. Anyway, it is really the 31st of August and plenty of sport going on and lots to look forward to, of course, because we are we're 24 hours away from the serious stuff starting, aren't we?
We are, yes. It's not long now. You know, FA Cup preliminary or extra preliminary round starting tomorrow, and it's scary that it's so soon. And you think the FA Cup final was, 2 weeks ago, and here we are again.
Amazing, isn't it? You almost got FA Cup games being played in two separate competitions in the same month. It's just absolutely crazy. But tell you what, let's do what we normally do and have a look back on the action over the previous week, starting on Tuesday 25th, where it finished Hoddesdon down 3, Harpenden down 0. Good performance by Simon Riddle's team this against Spartan South Midlands League Premier Division opponents. Cyrus Baby gave the Lily Whites the lead after 33 minutes. Adam Ramthor added number 2 10 minutes into the second half, and Blue Gallagher got the third in the last minute of a match reduced to 80 in duration due to fading light. 18-man squad involved, including former Ware players Cardan Gamble, Ethan and Harrison Rugard. And decent win, Harpenden decent side in Spartan South Midlands, and preparations going pretty well for Hoddesdon.
Yeah, that's it. You know, another good result for them. And I mean, like you say, you know, this was down at Albury Ride in Chesham, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure Simon's going to be, you know, very happy with the pre-season preparation so far.
And on the same night, not such a good result with the Isabel Hospice, which saw its first action of the new season, finished Welwyn Garden City 0, Hanwell Town 2. One of the favourites for the Isthmian League Division 1 South Central title, of course, were Hanwell, who had that blockbuster game against Ware right when we went into lockdown. But the Citizens had all their first-team squad available and matched their visitors in the first half, creating the early chances. Thomas Apuku's header from a Jordan Ginhoshi cross deflected behind for a corner, with Lee Close powering a header from the kick just wide. 6 minutes later, Elliot Bailey did have the ball in the net, but his effort from Dave Keeley's side set-up was ruled out for offside. Charlie Crowley was pressed into action with 25 minutes gone, making a top-notch save, pushing a 25-yard free kick away. Crowley kept the Citizens on level terms 2 minutes after the restart. Rob Banks' trip resulting in a penalty for Hanwell, which the keeper turned over the angle of post and bar with a spectacular save. 7 second-half changes understandably disrupted the home side's rhythm, and the Geordies took maximum advantage, although they took another penalty to break the deadlock. Rob Banks making another impetuous challenge inside the box, but this time the visitors made no mistake from the spot. 8 minutes from time, scruffy goalmouth scramble produced number 2. Citizens' best chance coming 3 minutes from time. Patrick Timms-Carla's effort blocked by the goalkeeper, Thomas Apuku, got in the rebound over the top. It was Welwyn Garden City man of the match, Charlie Crowley, who produced the final action, producing another spectacular save right on time. Citizens can take heart from matching their opponents in the first half and from the performance of their new keeper. On this showing, Hanwell will be optimistic. They will again be pushing promotion to level 3 come the end of the season. So a bit of a disappointing night, although they did match a very good side for 45 minutes.
That's it. I mean, you know, we know from last season how good Hanwell are, Pete. And I think, you know, like you say, there's positives to take there from Nicky. And, you know, Charlie Crowley, we spoke last week about what a good addition to that squad is, and, you know, he's made a penalty save and, you know, a man of the match performance, which is, you know, all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely cracking. I think he'll turn out to be one of the signings of the season. Nicky reacted on Twitter like this: very competitive game versus Hamwell Town tonight, losing 2-0. Good lesson for the Welwyn Garden City boys to compete for the full 90 minutes. Thanks to my good pals Chris Moore and Wayne Garter for bringing over a very good Hamwell side who will surely do well in their league. We agree with that. They'll definitely be one of the teams for Ware to watch out for yet again this season. On the same evening, it finished White Ensign 3, Sawbridgeworth Town 3. Another good workout for the Robins against Eastern Counties League opponents. Goals coming from Jake Ski, Ethan Barton and Connor Clark. The game, though, was marred through an injury sustained by Ethan Barton, which required a trip to hospital. But going well. 3-3, again, amongst the goals last year. I mean, it was goals at both ends that were the problems. They couldn't score them and they let too many in, but a few going in at the right end in pre-season anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a good pre-season so far. Obviously, we've got another couple of matches to talk about that they had during the week. But, I think promising signs so far. We've spoke, personally, I don't think they're going to struggle as much as they did last season. It's looking really good. Some of the additions that they've made to the squad, which I think we're going to cover later, are really looking promising for Lee Mackman's side.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a little bit later on, we're going to be running the rule over the Essex Senior League, which, of course, starts on Saturday. But moving back to Wednesday the 26th, where it finished London Lions 5, Welwyn Garden City under-23s 1. Forgettable night for the Citizens' second string, who spurned 2 early opportunities to take the lead before the home side stamped their dominance on proceedings. Lewis Ellis squandered the first, firing high over the bar when well positioned, and 3 minutes later, an uncharacteristically weak penalty from Brodie Garrington driven straight at the home keeper, summed up the visitors' night. London Lions from Spartan South Midlands League Division 1 were sharper in every department, scoring 3 times before Harrison Cage took over spot kick duties to reduce the arrears with a penalty after the impressive trialist Malcolm Poddier was fouled in the box. Citizens, though, showed few signs of an unlikely comeback, scoring twice more before the evening drew to a conclusion. Bright spot of the evening for Welwyn Garden City was the performance of young central defender Jack James, who hardly put a foot wrong. So disappointing for them. I mean, the Welwyn Garden City under-23 side, very much like transition Ware are going to go through this season, is that they're going to be a very, very young side. And, it's a steep learning curve for them.
It is going to be for them. And, they've got a new management team there as well, haven't they? So, they're learning as well about the new players. So it's like you say, it's going to be a transition for them. And hopefully, although they have had a pretty tough pre-season, hopefully they'll hit the ground running once the real season starts.
And their reaction to the performance on Twitter, well, they weren't very happy, understandably. Very poor performance tonight. Some good positives, though. But again, we are plagued by some individual errors. Time to make some decisions with the squad after looking at all the try list. Last friendly will be next Tuesday at home. Hoping to finish our pre-season on a positive note. On the same night, Standard and Buckridge continued their fairly impressive pre-season with a 3-3 draw against Royston Reserves. They're back in the Herts Senior County League Division 1 this season. And they also finished Ware under-23s 1, Chelmsford under-23s 1. Chelmsford Twitter said, thanks go to Ware for welcoming us to their excellent facilities. Great game played in tremendous spirit between 2 very good sides. Well done, everyone. It was great to see so many supporters buzzing about a wonderful game of football. Final score 1-1. And also, congratulations, 16-year-old Zach Bradshaw, former Ware player who appeared for Ipswich under-23s against Coggeshall Town a night before. So great stuff from him. And the Ware under-23s ditto for what we were saying about Welwyn Garden City. I mean, it's going to be last season's youth team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know that youth teams, they've had to step up a bit. And again, it's going to be a very young side for them, isn't it, Pete?
Certainly is. On the Thursday we move on. We finished Coney Heath 1, St Margaret's-Bury 0. Jack McShane with the only goal of the game there. And Sawbridgeworth continued their build-up. Yeah, another friendly for them. Sawbridgeworth Town 1, Barking 1. Good result this for the Robins. Jeff Adjuman on target for them. That brings us around to Saturday, where it finished Benfleet under-23s 0, Roydon 4. Manu Mafam, Arif Kuresi got a couple, and my favourite goal scorer of the entire week, Big Mo. Do we know anything about Big Mo?
When I saw that yesterday, I mean, obviously, during commentary on Saturday, I pointed out the score to you, and I got home Saturday evening, and I saw the scores, and I saw Big Mo, and yeah, that's got to be one of the best ones that we've seen so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, you know when you've been big mode, don't you, with Roydon, who are in the Essex Olympian League. They'll be in Division 5 this season, but they will be, well, I mean, they were top of the table and absolutely flying when it all came to a close last season, so no reason why they can't pick up and get themselves promoted this time. And it finished Buntingford Town 1, Origal Components 5. Jack Bishop with a goal for Town. There was an early contender for the tweet of the season. Sorry for the corrections. Your Twitter correspondent missed a goal because he was retrieving a ball. So there you go. That's my early entry for the tweet of the season there from Buntingford Town.
We do love a good tweet, don't we, Pete? So it's tweet of the season so far.
Good stuff. Also on the same day, finished Bush Hill Rangers 3, Bishop Stortford Swifts 2. Decent win for Bush Hill Rangers against team from the Essex Olympian League. And it also finished Harpenden Down 5, St Margaret's-Bury 0. Harvey Scott scoring a hat-trick for the home side. Oxy Jets 3, Hoddesdon Town 0. Disappointment for the Lily Whites, who were 3-0 down at half-time. Lidno take some solace from winning the penalty shootout competition. Two teams have agreed to stage after the match in preparation for Tuesday's FA Cup ties. Of course, the FA Cup ties tomorrow and on Wednesday that are playing, there's going to be no extra time. It's going to go straight to penalties. So I'm wondering how many other clubs did that over the weekend.
Yeah, maybe a few others have. And saying about the FA Cup, I mean, you know, it's straight to penalties, but then from the first round proper, you do play extra time.
Strange. Very strange. But, we had our say last week, didn't we, about the prize money. And actually, Paul Wolsey had his say last week about the prize money as well, and he was absolutely spot on with it. So it does seem strange. And I do wonder whether there are any people at the FA that actually know anything about non-league football these days. But hey-ho, there you go. Saturday, we were freezing, as I was alluding to earlier, in the stand at Wadson Park for the Sean Minot Memorial game, which was between Ware and AFC Dunstable from Southern League Division 1 South Central. And the Sean Minot Memorial Shield, I'm delighted to say, will stay on Wadson Park after Paul Hall's team overcame their Southern League opponents 2-0. No Liam Hope or Albert Adu for Ware, so Fraser John got a nod to play up front with Andre McCollin in a withdrawn number 10 role. Home side had the majority of the first half possession without causing too much of a threat to Dan Green's goal. Callum Kitchker was the busier of the two keepers, turning a couple of speculative efforts behind. It was centre-back Dan Rumans who came to his rescue, though Kitchker mishandling a cross from the right, but Rumans was on the hand to head Tyler Fry's chip off the line. It was Dan Rumans who provided Ware's only real threat of the opening 45 minutes, following Pat Adamson's in-swinging corner straight at the goalkeeper Dan Green. Second period saw Ware rotate their centre-backs, with Gaz Madden and Dave Kendall replacing Rumans and Lewis Rose, but it was Dunstable who started the brighter, with substitute Cameron Brooks forcing a good save out of Kishka at his near post. Ware, though, weathered the storm before Paul Halsey introduced youngster Rhys Crowther and Jordan Watson in a double swap, which changed the game. And Rhys Crowther is one of them, and here he is with his first touch. Nips it down the line nicely for Adamson. Here's Jordan Watson. He's not offside. He's on the edge of the area. Fires it in. And Jordan Watson fires in a comeback goal for Ware. AFC Dunstable's defence went completely missing. And Rhys Crowther, who'd only been on the field for about a minute, Certainly part of an architect there. Adamson going the ball inside. Jordan Watson all on his own on the edge of the 6-yard box and thumps it home. So it's Ware 1, AFC Dunstable 0. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Marcus Milner, Westacott though, brings it down for Ware. Finds Dave Kendall. Kendall's ball forward, looking for Reece Crowther. Crowther's in the left-hand side of the area here. Chance for the youngster. Pulls it across nicely. Jordan Watson short, and it's 2-0. Good old 1-2 from the substitutes. Reece Crowther involved again. Jordan Watson on the end of it. And quite a comeback it's being for Jordan Watson. Second half substitute scored 2. Ware have doubled their advantage with 15 minutes left. They lead AFC Dunstable here by 2-0. Takes 4 or 5 paces back, but Collins going to try and curl it in, but in the end it goes it wide of the target. And as predicted, that's the final action of the Sean Minot Memorial game here at Watson Park. And fittingly, it's ended in a Ware win. 2 goals for second half substitute Jordan Watson. Reece Crowther, who came on as a second half substitute, catching the eye to be involved in both as well. And so good ending to the match here at Watson Park in the Sean Minot Memorial game. It's finished Ware 2, AFC Dunstable 0.
Right, Paul, 2-0 win today against AFC Dunstable. You've won the Sean Minot Memorial Trophy. Can you tell me how pleased you are with that performance?
I'm pleased we won the trophy because obviously Sean was a very good friend of mine. We don't want to lose that. I wasn't over impressed with the first half. I felt we gave the ball away too much. I felt that the set pieces weren't right. I felt that we weren't, even though even with one of the set pieces we got a shot away, I did feel like in the final third we weren't clinical, we weren't just the link up play right, obviously Liam weren't there today and Albert's not playing, so, and I thought that second half I felt the fresh legs helped us a little bit, and I felt that young Reece was a big difference for us today.
Yeah, I mean, he came on and literally, a minute later, he put the ball down for Pat. Pat's crossed it. Jordan Watson, we'll talk about in a minute, and he put the ball in the net, and yeah.
Listen, he had an impact on both goals, didn't he, Reece? So, really pleased. I'm right for him. I've got to speak to him in a minute, but he's going to be with us Tuesday night for sure. I think he gives me a great option there. Not sure whether that picture on Tuesday might suit him, but we'll see.
He's definitely gives him things to think about, though, isn't he?
Oh, 100%. That's the position I'm looking at, and there's 2 or 3 players, fighting for it. So I've got a bit of a headache come Tuesday in what I do with the squad and what players are going to be involved. But it was good to give certain players 90 minutes today, and that's what I needed to do. And we've done that, and I'm over the moon with it.
And with Jordan Watson, he got the 2 goals. What's occurring with him?
Well, Jordan's been away. He wasn't involved today. But then I felt that Fraser ain't really had many minutes, so from me. So I thought, well, he won't last. So I thought I pulled Jordan in late last night and gave him his chance. And he's got his goals and fair play to him. But he knows how I feel. I've had a long chat with him, and he knows what I expect. So if he adapts to that, then he's got a future here. But if he doesn't, then he probably won't have. He's got he's been in and out with me now for a while, and he's got to step up a little bit, if you ask me, like he did when I first had him about 6 years ago. So he took his goals. Listen, he played up front, and that's his job. Scored 2 goals. And he done it, and fair play to him. But with assists for Reece, I thought, good, really pleased.
And then on to Tuesday, FA Cup against Southend Manor.
Yeah, on to Tuesday. So squad wise, we just had 2 assessed for the injuries. Callum's having a little rub now, so it weren't something that I expected to be in this early, but. We're in it, and hopefully we can go down there and get a result, and then we're in there or off to Canby for the next round. But you know, the boys don't. I said to them, they step up. You might get an upset, you know. So they've got to be better for sure. Some of them players. And hopefully, as you know, we go Tuesday, and then we go Saturday, and then we go Tuesday, and then we go Saturday. So hopefully, there's going to be times where we're going to get enough minutes for everyone.
That's it. Well, thanks very much, Paul. And
thanks for coming. Always good to see you too. And yeah, hopefully, you coming Tuesday?
No,
there's a shock, eh? Anything out of Hertfordshire?
Cheers, mate.
Lovely. Cheers. Thank you.
And thanks to Paul, as always, for his thoughts after the game. I mean, Symon, it was, it's almost a kind of game of two halves. But, one man really impressed us, Rhys Croucher. I mean, Paul said he wants to make him part of the first team squad. Well, on yesterday's evidence, maybe a little bit more than the squad and starting in the first team.
Yeah, I mean, it's fully deserved for him. He came on, and like I said to Paul there, he a minute after, he came on, he put that ball down for Pat. Pat crossed it. Jordan banged 1-0, and then he put the assist in for Jordan for the second one as well. And the two games that we've seen young Rhys play, is really, really impressed us and absolutely fantastic. Really, I can't say highly enough how well he's impressed us. For a young lad, coming into the first team, absolutely fantastic. And like Paul said, he said something on Twitter on Saturday evening, and he said there's plenty more of that to come.
Yeah, he's direct. He runs at players. And, on Saturday, there was one particular back heel that was right at a very high standard of football. So very impressive from him. Good to have Jordan Watson back on board. The only slight worry I've got is that, Jordan went last year because he couldn't break into those attacking options. And when those attacking options are Albert Adu, Andre McCollin and Liam Hope, I just hope the same thing doesn't happen again.
No, that's it. And like Paul said, he's spoken to Jordan. He knows what he's got to do. He needs to get his head down and knuckle down.
And another couple of players came on the second half, impressed me. Danny Wickenden, very precise, very neat little player in midfield. And Finlay Titchmarsh, the right back, who was in Barnett's youth team, played a handful of games with Staines last season. And it's going to be a good duel right back between him and George Casey, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I think they're both looking very equal. So, like you say, I think it could be a tough decision for Paul to make as to who selects for that position.
Following the game on Saturday, there was the presentations held back from the end of last season, and one man scooped the pole, really, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Callum Kitchker. He got the supporters, the players, and the manager's player of the year. So absolutely fantastic. Huge congratulations to Callum, and very well deserved, Pete, I think.
Oh, he had an absolutely cracking season, and one penalty save, I think all welfare supporters will remember, will live in the memory for a long time. But he's just such he's a good shot stopper. He's such a presence, and it must be the reason why one of the reasons why they were so good defensively in front of to play in front of a guy like that. It's got to give you great confidence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paul did say during the presentation that people say, a keeper can save you, 12 to 15 points a season. And, he definitely did that, I think.
Yeah, and he certainly, I rated him the best goalkeeper in the division last season, without a doubt. There was another trophy on hand, though. Chairman's Player of the Year for someone that richly deserved it as well in Lee Rose.
There was, yeah, he got that. And also the Golden Boot was awarded, which we all know who that went to. That went to Liam Hope.
I hope it wasn't
it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But, we know how many goals he scored last season.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope it wasn't that trainer we were taunting him with painted with gold paint towards the back end of last season. But yeah, I mean, Liam was tremendous, wasn't he? Goal scorer, knows where the goal is, and who's to say he won't do it again this season? Because he's been a goal scorer throughout his career. And Lee, if you want someone to cover every blade of grass on a pitch and give you 100% every game, then he's your man.
That's it. And when the chairman was doing his speech for that award, he said it was for bringing the team together, and being sort of like a vocal part, between the team, the players, the supporters, the management team as well. And we all know how vocal Lee is.
Yeah, absolutely. And he just draws everything together, doesn't it? I enjoyed having him on the show, and hopefully, as the season progresses, we'll get him back on 90 minutes. So while that was going on at Watson Park, over the back on the 3G, it was finishing Ware Sports 3, Brimsdown 0. Callum Bennison and Charlie Bliss in the goals there. A decent win for Ware Sports as they continue their build-up to the season. But unfortunately, at the Isabel Hospice Stadium, it finished Welwyn Garden City 0, Canvey Island 5. Disappointing afternoon for the citizens, who drew a blank for the second time in a week. Canvey Island, who knocked Welwyn Garden City out of the FA Trophy, of course, last season, proved too strong from the start against the citizens lineup that started with Jay Rolfe, George Ironton and Jesse Walklin all on the bench, with Nicky Ironton giving starts to youngster Jack James, who'd impressed so much in the under-23s at right back, and Robbie Buchanan on the wing. Home fans were stunned as they watched their side fall 3 goals behind after only 19 minutes. Louis Hunt opened the scoring in the opening minute when the citizens' defence failed to deal with Toby Joseph's lofted pass. Visitors continued to pile forward, and Charlie Crowley was forced to pull off 2 good saves, but he could do nothing on the quarter hour as Jamie Symon powered Jay Silver's corner into the roof of the net to make it 2-0. 4 minutes later, it was 3. The impressive Toby Joseph chipping the ball over Crowley from the edge of the box. Home side came close to pulling one back after 36 minutes, but Elliot Bailey's header went narrowly wide, and then right on half-time, visiting keeper Bobby Mason did well to save a Dave Keeley side free kick. Any thoughts of a home comeback were extinguished 2 minutes into the second half when Crowley did well to push away Joseph's effort, only for Louis Hunt to react quickest and smash the rebound in off the underside of the crossbar. Nicky Ironton began to empty the bench after that. Jay Rolfe, George Ironton and Charlie Bain all came on, and things could have got worse had Elliot Rondo's attempts not been ruled out for offside, while Charlie Crowley made another top-notch save to deny Rob Lacey. Forgettable afternoon was summed up 18 minutes from time when Lee Close, put under pressure by Toby Joseph, overhit his back pass, which sailed over Crowley into the net to make it 5-0. Reaction on Twitter for Nicky, and we always applaud him even after that kind of defeat. He's there on Twitter giving his reaction. A lesson for the Welwyn Garden City boys today, losing 5-0 to a very good Canvey Island side. Poor defending and a lack of desire, 2 exclamation marks. We know what that probably meant in the dressing room, or if they were allowed to go in the dressing room, probably on the pitch after the match.
Yeah, I can't imagine Nicky would have been too happy. And you did say on Saturday during commentary, Pete, that when they went 3-0 down, that we might have been able to hear Nicky if the wind was blowing in the right direction. And I would not have liked to be one of them players after such a result.
Yeah, disappointing, isn't it? The Hamwell result, you can understand, held them in the first half, 7 changes in the second. So, you can't really judge it from that. But to then come out, and I know he made a couple of changes, he gave the young lad who'd done so well in the under-21s, Jack James, a game out, and left 3, really experienced players in Jay Rolfe, George Irons and Jesse Waltlin on the bench. But still disappointing. And this kind of lack of goals is disappointing considering, the striking talent we know they've got there.
That's it. And we spoke about this last week as well. This evolves back to last season, about them creating chances and putting those away.
Yeah, it's been a problem, and it'd be interesting. I mean, Saturday, fingers crossed, we'll be talking about Ben Hurd a little bit later in the show, the Hertford manager, but Hertford against Welwyn Garden City, that's going to be a really interesting test, I think. And having watched AFC Dunstable against Ware on Saturday, I've still got this feeling that despite the fact both leagues are at level 4, that the Isthmian League is just that little bit stronger than the Southern League at the same level in the pyramid.
Yeah, I agree with that, Pete. I think we've watched a few games from both different leagues, and I would agree that the Isthmian League is the stronger league.
And also to round up the scores, Sawbridgeworth Town had their first defeat of pre-season when they went down 3-1 to Essex and Suffolk Border League side White Notley. Daniel Bolden was on target for the Robins. But as we were saying before, I mean, it's been impressive stuff, and just one defeat. They got big FA Cup tie coming up tomorrow, which we'll preview a little bit later. But still, fairly impressive stuff from Lee Mackman's side. Talking of which, a couple of signings for them. Former Long Melford keeper Michael Betts and striker Sam Bashua, who's been amongst the goals. He scored 5 pre-season, used to play for Barking's side, and a couple of useful signings to add to the squad there. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen a video of Michael, and I think, some of the saves he's making, a few penalty saves there as well that he's made, and he looks a great addition. And like you say, Sam Bashua, 5 goals in pre-season. Some of them have only come in, within playing a half of one of the games. And it's hopefully it's someone there that can put the ball in the back of the net for them.
Yeah, a good challenge for the keeper's jersey, because Cav Clark is still there, of course, who was at #United. So him and young Michael, that's going to be a good battle for the keeper's jersey.
That's it, and of course we know, Cav Clark. He's played on the field as well for them. So he got a couple of goals last season as well. So he can play in goal. He can play in midfield as well. So yeah, let's see what happens with him.
Certainly. Another notable signing is Welwyn Garden City have strengthened their defensive ranks with the signing of fullback or central defender Malcolm Poddier, who impressed in that under-23 game last week. He's come from Isthmian Premier Club Enfield Town. He's 25, also played with Northwood in the Isthmian South Central, and played in the Northern Premier League for Nottingham-based clubs Bashford United and Colton Town while he was studying at Nottingham Trent University. So again, it's a versatile defender, and just adds to Nicky's options there.
That's it, yeah. Like you say, gives him some more options, and hopefully, he'll get a few games and see what he can do. I think he might need to, get a bit more of a view of him and see where he's going to slip in, but see how many chances he gets.
Yeah, certainly. And another bit of local news, and I tell you, this is really good value here. Hertford have announced, they did it yesterday, their season tickets for 2021, now on sale, priced at £100 for adults and £50 for concessions. That's over 60s, 17 and 18-year-olds, and nice to see all the NHS staff as well. Thumbs up for that. £10 for under 16s. So come on, an entire season if you're under 16 for £10. Surely you've got to snap that up.
That's not bad, is it? And also, I know for those that had season tickets last season, they're doing a 15% reduction because of what they would have missed from the back end of last season as well. So, I mean, if you're going to get that for £85 now, yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it?
That's unbelievable. If you're under 16, that'd be £8.50, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You can get to Hertford for an entire season for the same price as a portion of fish and chips. Come on.
Sounds good to me, Pete.
Definitely.
The Hertford season ticket, not the fish and chips.
Not the fish, well, probably both. But
don't sound bad, but yeah.
Okay, also, a prominent thing that happened, of course, in the week was the releasing of the fixtures for our level 4 clubs. And some interesting things came out that hat, although it's an away day on opening day, 19th September, with Ware away at Staines and Hertford away at Tooting and Mitcham. And as we'll allude to a little bit later, we're going to talk to Ben about this, but I'm sure he's going to have a comment on the fact that it's as you were from last season. They've just turned the fixtures around.
Yeah. I don't know what the thought is behind that. Just for the opening day, it's not the whole season. It's just the opening day. So I don't know what their thoughts were behind that. But fair play to them. It's makes things a little bit easier for them, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. The first home league games for both of the teams in the Isthmian League. 26th September, Hertford have got a local derby against Waltham Abbey and Ware entertain Barking. The dates you do want for your diaries, local derbies, 21st of November, Hertford against Ware, and the 20th of March next year, Ware against Hertford. Just a little bit disappointed. I think Paul Halsey would be disappointed when they came out, because I know we've chatted to him about, hey, this is a big local derby. Why can't we just put it on a bank holiday?
That's it. I mean, Paul's been very vocal to us before, hasn't he? Saying, right, play one on Boxing Day, play one on Easter Monday, get the crowds in. We know how big the crowds were for the two games last season. And if you have them on them two games, then I think them crowds would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, most definitely, because when you do look forward to the Christmas fixtures, I mean, Boxing Day, FC Romania against Hertford and Waltham Abbey against Ware. Well, they got a little bit of local derby about them, but nothing like you get for a Hertford-Ware game. And then the 28th of December, for some inexplicable reason, the Hertford are home to Barking, which seems to, be a bit Barking, really. Doesn't make any sense at all. And Ware against FC Romania. So I don't know how they decide these things, but really, really strange. I'll tell you, though, if you look at some of the fixtures, I mean, Hertford got a really tough start, haven't they? Because, they got Tooting, Westfield and Waltham Abbey in their first three games. So that's a tough beginning.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for them. But, I mean, I know Ben has said before, you've got to play all these teams twice a season. So does it really matter when you play them? All right, yeah, you might get off to that tough start. But at the end of the day, you've got to play every team in your division twice.
Most definitely, although I think November's going to be a pretty key month for Ware. Got Hamwell and Bracknell at home, either side of the local derby with Hertford. So that's going to be an interesting month. Moving on to Welwyn Garden City, well, they're also away on opening day. They go to Oxfordshire to Wantage Town. Their first home game will be on Tuesday the 29th, home game in the league, that is, against Biggleswade. And then Saturday the 3rd of October, the game they were really looking forward to, but one that never made it last season, the home game against Hales Owen, which will be a very interesting one.
Yeah, another one to look forward to. So, let's hope they as well, can get a strong start to the season. It's strange how all three of our local clubs are away.
Yeah, on the 19th, he's very strange. Everybody on their travels, but and also, if you look at the fixtures again, we'd love our local teams to be separated, not all playing at home at once, but that happens a few times as well. But hey ho, there's lots of good fixtures to look forward to anyway. Got to say congratulations to the Herts Senior County League, who are the National Grassroots League of the Year, as voted by the FA. They recently announced one of the winners in the 2020 Hertfordshire FA Grassroots Football Awards, having been selected by a panel of local judges. And following this, all the county FA winners all went forward to the next stage of the awards process. And Herts Senior County League Grassroots League of the Year. Well done to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fantastic. I mean, like you say, the all the local FAs, they have their, if I say, regional winners, which goes through to the the national finals, and Herts Senior County League got the National Grassroots League of the Year. So absolutely fantastic, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, many congratulations to them. It's a really good standard of football. If you don't want to go and watch if you just want to walk out and watch your football somewhere, then there's some really good clubs in that league. And talking of things that the FA have done, and this one I think we're all behind, is that from today, Step 3 to 6 clubs can increase their capacity, of course. And they'll be limited to 30% of the minimum required capacity for their league. Clubs must, though, have hosted a Stage 1 game at 15% before they can increase their capacity. It basically means Step 4 teams can have 400 through the gate and Step 5 teams can have 300. So, that's positive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great news for all those clubs. And, 400, like you say, for the Step 4 clubs, 300 for the Step 5 clubs. And it's great. It gives that bit of extra income as well for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, and very much needed is the extra income. I mean, moving on to that, the Herts FA are pleased to announce support for clubs that will help protect grassroots football from the financial impact of the coronavirus outbreak, because clubs at all levels have been struggling. And to help them be ready for when football is able to resume, what happened is the Herts FA offered free club affiliation, free team affiliation, free county cup entries, and discounted public liability insurance. So just wanted to mention that, particularly the free county cup entry, which goes a little bit against what the FA have done with the FA Cup in reducing prize money. So hats off to the Herts FA for doing that for their county cups.
Yeah, I think that's great. And if memory serves me correctly, the county cup is actually more expensive to enter than the FA Cup. So that's going to be really beneficial for our clubs.
Yeah, it's going to do them well. So well done, the Herts FA, for that one. A little bit of hockey news. Well, the only bit of hockey news we can find, actually. They've probably done it now, but another one of the tweets of the week from Hertford Ladies First. We're struck on 666 followers on Instagram. Not that we're superstitious or anything, but can someone please give us a follow? So... hope somebody did. Talking of which, actually, when I last looked at it, our Twitter was stuck on 499. So hopefully someone will give us a follow and bring up the 500.
Well, that'd be nice. Get that 500. Yeah, definitely.
And also, it was our happy 30th birthday to our favourite birthday celebration cake. There are many imitations, but there's only one Colin. The only thing that kind of worried me about that is Colin can't be 30, can he? Or is you not going to want to eat him, are you?
I wouldn't want to eat a 30-year-old cake. But we know how much the Hertford hockey girls love their Colin the Caterpillar cake, don't we?
Yeah, and also the donut glasses, of course. The donut will be coming up after we've talked to Ben Hurd in the second half of tonight's 90 minutes. Basketball news. The NBL announced this week proposed dates for the season to start. NBL Division 1 to start the weekend of the 24th, 25th of October, when the newly named Oakland College Wolves, of course, will take their place in NBL Division 1. The Women's National Basketball League are due to start a week earlier on the 17th and 18th of October. So we very much look forward to the start of play. Hertford Town boss Ben Hurd coming up in the second half of tonight's 90 minutes, along with a nomination for 11,000 donuts. Stay tuned for that, but right now, it's half time.
Right, welcome back from that half-time break, and we're joined by Ben Hurd from the Hertford Town manager. Evening, Ben.
Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for having me on. Different times, isn't it? We're usually in a cramped studio, aren't we? But I quite embrace technology sometimes.
At least you haven't had to travel too far, have you?
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. On a Sunday evening, travelling all the way over to Ware and then back again, and getting back and then getting up early is, you saved me a trip. So thank you. Thank you anyway. Good innovation.
That's it. So, I mean, first of all, how have you and everyone at the club been?
Yeah, we've been okay. Obviously, we're obviously talking about sort of the shutdown and what happened there, sort of thing. I think we've kind of gone through that a little bit with you guys previously. But since we've come back to pre-season, it's been really good. It's been really positive. Obviously, sad to lose some of the players we've lost in terms of like Alfie Q and Nick Hayes. But you certainly argue, certainly in Nick's case, it's gone on to much bigger and better things, basically, which is what we're about. And as I've sort of said to you last year numerous times, really, the bigger vision for Hertford, it's already a big tick in the box for that to start with. A player that's played 40 games or so for Hertford has gone on and hopefully has an illustrious career in the Football League, and he's with a club that has the sort of aim, if you like, and the progression to really kick on with Salford City. So that was good. And yeah, we're trying to find our bearings in terms of pre-season. Again, you lose your best players at this level, don't you? Because obviously other teams players want to progress as well, which is understandable. And the financial side isn't quite the same here, so we can't necessarily keep players because of finances. So it's a little bit of a rebuilding job. But I've got to say, the bulk of the team are still here. They're a year further down the line, and a year with more experience, etc. So it's just it's not easy for anyone, but at the same time, the bigger picture is always the bigger picture, and that's trying to make Hertford Town the best it can be and to make it a sustainable model whilst being successful as well.
That's it. I mean, you mentioned Alfie and Nick there, but I mean, you're looking at some new players to add to the squad. Obviously, you're looking for a new goalkeeper. I came to watch you, a week or so ago against Enfield Town when you had a goalkeeper in either half, and you had a young French lad in goal in the first half. Can you tell me a bit more about him?
Yeah, odd one really. Obviously, we had to replace Nick, and it's got to be said, Nick, started off the season last year really badly for us. It wasn't great, but really, really transformed as a person, as a player, and did ever so well. Hence, that's why he is where he is. So I got contacted by an agent who gets in touch every now and again and just said, I might have a goalie for you. Probably seen what happened to Nick as well. It's a really odd one, really. His name's Arthur LeBlond. He's from Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. His last club was Racing Club Lens in Ligue 1, so the top division in France. So he was in their academy. He's 19 now. He's taken the bold decision that he wants to come to England to play men's football and get experience and try and push on from there. So in some respects, I quite admire it in terms of the boldness of it and the sort of foresight of it, because I can see what he's trying to do. So yeah, we've got a little bit to go, sort of thing. We still haven't made a decision on him. He's still only 19, and there's a lot of other factors you've got to factor in as well when it comes to signing sort of a foreign player as well. How they're going to adapt. How is it feasible to do, and for longer term, and things like that sort of thing. So as yet, we haven't made a decision on him. But fair play to him for definitely giving it a go. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, in that game, he didn't really have a great deal to do. Have you had more of a view of him since then, of what he can do for you?
Really difficult in that game because obviously it was the windiest game in the world in August, and it was literally like a winter storm effectively, wasn't it? The wind conditions were horrendous, and unfortunately we got turned round from the kickoff, so we lost the toss at the kickoff, and they turned us round. So he's facing literally like a hurricane into his face, which would have made it really difficult for him, which is good for me though, because I get to see people in adverse conditions and see how they adapt and how they cope with it. But it's really difficult as well to see a goalkeeper. What I'm looking for is presence, is coming for crosses, a distribution obviously out the hands, off the feet. So there's a multitude of things, not just, that sounds silly, but shot stopping I kind of expect. That's why you're in goal. If you can't save shots, then probably shouldn't be a goalkeeper, probably.
I mean, we've had one of the great quotes from you that, you don't clap your postman for delivering your letters. So that's what the goalkeeper's there for, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I nicked that off Roy Keane, but yeah, effectively. You're right. And, as a right back, I expect right backs to be able to defend and not let wingers go past them and get crosses in. That's kind of a given for me. There's loads more to it, don't get me wrong. There's loads more to goalkeeping, but as a fundamental rule, everyone brings something to the party, don't they, when they play? And you've got to do your job. And fundamental to a goalkeeper is saving shots. So I expect you to save shots.
That's it. Obviously, another important thing to take into consideration is the language barrier. How is his English? Is he, can he communicate well with the rest of the team?
I've got to say, his English is very good. It's very good. It's understanding of the language, not just speaking it with pronunciation. his understanding of the language is very good as well. So yeah, he's obviously quite a well-educated boy as well. So which is also a plus.
Yeah. And what about any other new players you're looking to add in? I'm guessing a few from the academy.
Yeah, there's one or two. We've lost Toby Byron as well. So he won't be joining us for next season. So we've got to replace him at left back. So we've got one or two options there as well now. I don't want to give too much away. It's still pre-season, and I know how non-league works. People are spying all the time, and trying to thief ideas and things like that off here. So at the same time, no, we'll keep our cards close to our chest. But no, it's a process. That's what pre-season is there for. It's a process to try different things, try different personnel. Some work, some don't work, and it's just a learning process. And you want to get to a position where you come to Malden and Tiptree in 2 weeks' time, and we're ready. And then we come to 3 weeks' time. We come to Tooting and Mitcham away in our first game on the 19th of September. And we're ready, but you can never, even then, you're going to have injuries, you're going to have suspensions throughout the season, and it's about sort of like, knowing what you've got in the building, and trusting what you've got in the building, and being able to manoeuvre and adapt accordingly, because the season's going to throw curveballs at you, no doubt, and you've got to just get on with things and make things happen effectively. So yeah, I think there's some really exciting players. I think the bulk of the squad the unity is really good. We're always looking to improve, of course, but there's a bit more experience collectively than there was this time last year.
That's it. I mean, you say that, them young players that you introduced last season, they've got that, 3/4 of a season at men's football experience behind them as well, haven't they? Which is going to help massively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course it does. I suppose it only helps, Simon, if you take it on board as well, if that makes sense. So look, you can play games and not really think about the game and just get on with it, sort of thing. Yeah, you'll probably residually pick up some experience, but if you go away and you really sort of, which I'm sure the boys do because they're very conscientious, that if they really think about the game in their mind's eye and they learn from it and they go and implement change, then that's the biggest precursor for experience, is actually implementing that change.
Yeah. Go back to that game against Enfield Town. One young lad that did impress me, Josh Bryant. Can you tell me a bit more about him at all?
Yeah. I mean, where do you want to start, really? Yeah. So I know I've known Josh. He's been in my academy 2 years now. Really, really quite a funny story, really, because he got released by Stevenage at that age, at 16, and was probably, I remember going to see him at his school because he'd been recommended to me by a teacher there, I know. And I'll be honest with you, I thought he was a 12-year-old. I thought he'd gone and found his younger brother or something. He looked like the Milky Bar kid, and like butter wouldn't melt, if you like, And so he was about 5'4", I think then. I'm not joking you. I think his blazer was too big for him. And then I've got to say, with most academy players, well, most players as well, like, the adaptation to training every day, to different methods and et cetera, isn't an easy one. So his first year was just a sort of gradual process of getting used to playing, training every day and playing games, and what I expect from him as a fullback, as a coach as well, but also how we want to play the game is obviously was different to what he'd been sort of taught at Stevenage, sort of thing. So there's a lot to factor in for a young player when they take up playing and training full time. And he was mainly in our sort of second team, if you like, then, because there was just players ahead of him, if you like, in terms of development. And he's kind of physically struggled through his sort of teens. I think he's been a bit of a late developer. But then last year, for example, we sent him out to, and this is what I try and encourage a lot of players to do. So not just stay with me at Hertford, but to go and play, step 5, step 6, whatever it is, football as well. So he went to Potton and played some games at Potton last year as well. He also went to Stotfold as well and played some games at Stotfold, which has all aided and helped. And he played under 23 games with us at Hertford as well, in different positions as well. So playing at the centre half. He's a left back, but playing in different positions. But he's also, in his first year with us, he grew 14 centimetres.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's huge. Yeah, absolutely. So he's gone from he's 6'1", 6'2", I think he is, something like that. He's had a monumental sort of rise in the last 18 months in terms of his stature. He's still playing catch up a little bit in terms of power and physicality a little bit, but I have no doubt he'll get there. And he's a very clever footballer, very, very clever footballer. Sees things. Again, I know that someone like Josh, he's a bright boy as well. He's just passed his course, if you like, and he's got the equivalent of 3 A stars at A level. So he's a bright boy, and he really thinks about things. So he's done really well in pre-season. You know, I don't want to build him up too much because you know he's no doubt going to have some learning curves along the way. But I've got to say that he's done really, really well. It's a little bit like Luke Geimer last year, if you like. You know, didn't really know how he'd react to this sort of level or anything like that, and it's a bit of suck it and see sort of thing. But so far, so good in pre-season. He's done really, really well.
And he got a goal himself in that game as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. I mean, that's something obviously I want the fullbacks to do is to attack and to join in and not just not just sit there and just wait to be attacked. And there's others as well. There's another young lad as well, another left back who's done really, really well. He's only 16. He's just been released by Tottenham. He's come to us. So Max as well. So he's not ready yet, I don't think, but he's played some pre-season games for us as well and made appearances. And he's going to be a good player as well. If he keeps a good attitude and a willingness to learn as well. It's the biggest thing, Simon, is mentality. That's all it is. You know, your coaches will help you with the rest. If you've got a great mentality, then you can kick on and really do well. There's no doubt about it. But if you haven't got a good mentality, you don't want to learn, you don't want to listen, you don't want to work hard, then you're not going to go anywhere. You know, and you're going to end up at a poor level forever. You know, you want to have players in the house like Nick was that are motivated to climb in the ladder, to getting higher, and with all niceties, you know, they're using Hartford, if you like, to bridge that gap as a stepping stone. Now, I mean that with the greatest respect, because obviously they're not just taking out of Hartford, they're giving something back as well. So it's a bit of a quid pro quo where, you know, we're getting good players that are hungry, they're not here for the money, they're here because they care and they want to learn, they want to do better. And obviously we want them to kick on, which will encourage others hopefully to recognise that and come in later dates as well.
And talking of fullbacks scoring, because you got a few goals last season as well, didn't you?
I tried. Chipped in with a couple, yeah.
Harvey Gardner, he was there also on the sidelines, and we've spoken before about how far he has to travel. He was giving a few instructions to the players and trying to help out. And it's good that he's signed on for another season. And I think, from speaking to him, a few times before, he's got a really good footballing brain as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, some people would say no because he's a centre half, but no, he has. He's a good lad. He sort of, in many respects, typifies what I would like. The sort of model of player that we'd like there. A little bit like Isaac Pedro as well. They're almost coaches on the side, if you like. They're very conscientious sort of people and players, and they're helping out there. And there's no instruction for me to say I'll have a word with anyone. They're just doing it off their own back. He's injured. He's travelling to Enfield on a Friday night to come watch us play because he cares. Yesterday he came to watch us play yesterday, and he's injured still, but he cares. And for me, that's huge, really, because there's a lot of players out there that don't really care, to be honest. They just turn up, get their money, and go home again. And that's not what I want at the football club. I want players to care about the football club and to care about everyone at the football club as well. And he certainly fits into that bracket, which is really pleasing. And he's a good player as well. He's a good player. He's young. I think he's just turned 19, turning 20. He's got good pedigree. He's been at Real Betis in Spain for a year. He came in last year, and he's got to learn. He's got to learn the game. But sometimes people get too carried away in terms of age. So some of these players are going to take a little bit longer, a little bit more time. But it's not a race. You need, when you get there, you want to stay there. You don't want to get there too quickly and then fall away again. You want to get there and be built on solid foundations, what you're good at. And if you're good at that, then you've got half a chance of forging a career in the game. If you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, or you're chasing the end of a rainbow somewhere, you can quickly go into the game and you can quickly fall out of the game and never go back in again. So it's about building something that's, as a player, is sustainable as well.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that you had a game on Saturday. I know you was looking for rearranging a fixture because you did have a friendly arranged against Morden and Tiptree. Who is it who was actually playing? Because I didn't see that.
We played Stotfold on the national turf. We got beat 3-0, and we were poor. So we were poor. We had one or two sort of. It just again shows you. I mean, a whole host of changes. Throughout the game as well. Doesn't help you as well. So it is what it is in pre-season. I was disappointed, obviously, about the result. Disappointed in the manner of how we concede goals, but in the light of day, when you look at it, you're missing 3 or 4 of your first team players, if you like. It's a difficult ask. And you've got trialists coming in as well. I don't know how you play. Some haven't trained as well, so they're coming in. But you want to look at some players. They come in and they've kind of got good pedigrees. You kind of want to look at them and think, okay. And how they come across on a phone, for example, is a big thing. I'd say that to any player out there. Don't just send a generic text message, "Hi, I'm looking for a club," blah blah. Call a manager, talk to them, or send them something a bit more personable, which is going to get their attention to actually call you back, basically. But yeah, no, we wasn't great yesterday. Got to be said. We got Coggleshall on Tuesday night away, so that'd be more of a test. And then obviously we've got Welwyn Garden City next week. Hopefully at home. Hopefully the pitch is okay. And then we're into Malden and Tiptree for real this time at the FA Cup in 2 weeks' time.
That's it. I mean, that game against Welwyn Garden City, we are hoping to attend. So keep us posted as to what happens with that.
Yep.
And also, you've got Mark Sinfield, your assistant, still there, and young Pat is off to uni, I understand. So is he going to be about as much, or?
Well, I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, he's going to Nottingham University, so again, he's done really, really well with his education. He's going to go and study sports business at Nottingham, which is great. He's actually a really good goalkeeper, actually, but he's just been really bereft with injuries in his knees. Like I said, basically hasn't trained or played for a year or over a year now. And he's actually, I really like him as a goalkeeper, and I just felt that it's really robbed him really of his last year full time with us, really, because I think he really would have kicked on. He'd done a year with us and he did really well. And he learnt an awful lot, and just felt he would have really kicked on and become a really good goalkeeper. But he's got an operation, I think, coming up to hopefully rectify his problems with his knees, and he can go away to university. If universities are going back, by the way, because today they looked like they wasn't going to go back. So who knows, is what I'm saying. But I've got Mark there, obviously, his opinion I really value as a person and as a football person as well. And Colin Hay as well, it's got to be said as well, is an absolute gent of a man. And again, he's just someone you just want to be around because he's such a positive guy. And he's got a real good outlook on life, and he's really good with the young lads as well, to be honest with you. So between the three of us, it's I think it's really good. And the young lads, I think, enjoy not just me talking to them all the time.
I mean, there's been a bit of work going on at the ground. You mentioned just now the pitch. How's that actually looking?
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. It just needs to just thicken up a little bit more, the grass. It's been levelled off. It's probably the flattest it's ever been, I'd say. It's a hell of a lot better than last year. That killed us, I think, at times last year. The weather has been good and bad. Obviously, we've had extremes, haven't we? We've had pure heat where it's been really difficult to get enough water on it to help maintain it. And then on the flip side, you've now had loads of water, and it could do with a little bit of heat now, really. So I think, to be fair, we put some fertiliser on it last night. Me, myself, Chris Eccles, and Colin Hay. And we was there till probably 8 o'clock last night doing that after the game. So we can just try and boost it a little bit for this next week to hopefully just get a bit more grass coverage on it to push it through. But you only get one chance this time of year, don't you, to get your pitch right. If you ruin it and you go on it too early and it kills it, it's no good for you because, it's really difficult to get back for the winter. So we want a good pitch. We want to maintain that as much as possible so we can play some good stuff on it.
That's it. And we spoke before about the vandalism that happened at the ground. Has that been rectified?
Yeah. The stadium's looking pretty tidy, I've got to say. It's I actually love going there. Sometimes I just love going there and just sitting there and just looking at the place, really. It's got great, certainly this time of year with all the leaves on the trees, it's got a great backdrop. You're kind of bunkered down, aren't you? And no one to really bother you or anything like that sort of thing there. And it's very secluded and quiet, which is, again, good and bad, as we know. But no, just the potential of the place is huge, and it really is, and it's down to us as custodians to try and realise that potential and try and build something that's meaningful there. And I've got to say, like, we work all hours God sends for absolutely nothing to try and make that dream a reality. So, you know, we have that with the best intentions at the football club, and we'll make mistakes from time to time. Of course we will, but on the whole, our intentions are honest and pure, and we want to build something for Harper Town Football Club going forward. You know, something we can really look back and be proud of, and the legacy, as I said to you before. So it's a real big thing for us, really. You know, we really buy into it, and the man hours that we all put in is ridiculous, but it's still fun.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, well, it's football. It's all I know. So what can you do?
I want to go back to last season. I mean, obviously you've had plenty of times to, you know, evaluate it. What is your perception of, you know, of how you've done, and what are you looking to achieve for this coming season?
Good question. On reflection, last year, if you go back just over a year ago now, we inherited a club that was in turmoil, to be honest with you, on and off the pitch. You know, 3 or 4 managers within a short amount of time, high turnover of players. I think they had 90 odd players that particular season. Discipline issues all over the place, heavy fines by the FA for different things as well. You know, tapping players up and things like that sort of thing, you know. So we came into the real storm, if you like. Bit of controversy when we came in as well. I think that's fair to say, which is it's not fair really on us, I don't think, because that wasn't how it was ever meant to be, not what we were told. And we came in and had no players, no real committee, debt, a lot of debt around the club as well. So financially it was difficult. So we've managed to sort of try and get the club on an even keel, both on and off the pitch effectively. So, you know, obviously starting again with players. And, you know, look, in retrospect last year, look, what did I ever envisage going that young that quickly? No, I didn't know. It's not a vanity project. It's but what you're after, and look, this is where we're shopping. What I want is a player that's a good person to start with, okay, a great person. So you don't want to let anyone in the building because you don't want to ruin what's there. So you want a good person to come in the building to start with. Then you want a little bit of experience to help some of the younger lads. So you want an experienced player. Then you want someone who can play how I want him to play. So, you know, that's quite demanding, I'd say. It's not your sort of average. Then you want someone to come in for not much money as well. So when you marry that all together, are they actually out there? It's a difficult ask, is what I'm saying. Now, I think the ones that did come in last year to help, I think James Dewars helped us. I think who else came in? I'm trying to think now. Oh, Chris Goslin came in and was excellent for us as well. You forget Chris is only like 21 years old. I think 20 years old. He's not that old. He acts a lot older than what he is. So yeah, we needed a bit of experience, and with the experience we got, by and large, I'll be honest with you, wasn't the right sort, really, to be perfectly honest with you. And I felt compromised a lot because I was having experience there, but at what price? Because their attitudes weren't good enough, a lot of them. You know, turn up late for games all the time and think that's just nothing that I've ever known in my life, you know, just not even once. I don't think I was never late for a game, ever. You just wouldn't do it. Just things like that, really, you know, answering back all the time, just having a bit of a attitude about everything sort of thing. I'm not naming names, there's no point doing that, but just as a bit of a collective, that's what it was like. So once we got rid of that, if you like, and got more positive sort of individuals in, it did change. And also the boys are learning as well. You know, they're learning the game as well, so they got more experience. And there were some real low points, some really, really low points. Never once did I ever waver in my belief in the players and the way we played or anything. We just had to be better at doing it, and we needed more help doing it. I understood that. But going forward, I think the players are more bonded now. I mean, we did better towards the end of the season as it got sort of called off, if you like. We're much more competitive, and our results obviously showed that as well. And then this season, going into this season, do better than last season is what I'd say. Look, this isn't a 5-minute job. This is we're not going to go from there to winning the league within one foul swoop. I'm not saying that, you want to do that. Of course you do. You go into every game to try and win a game. You never ever go, oh, we might lose this term. No, of course you don't. You go in. When you look at us against Ware last year, for example, top of the league against us, and we went there and arguably up until Alfie got sent off with a better team and obviously had a commanding lead, and then to get sent off and we draw the game. But my point is that we can go anywhere and mix it, if you like, on our day. Now our day has to be more consistent this year for sure, and we need maybe a bit more in the building to help us with that as well. So in short, it is to improve on last year and to be better and go and see where that takes us.
And like you say, onto this season, got the FA Cup draw a couple of weeks' time, Malden Tiptree, which you had the friendly lined up against. And then the league fixtures were released on Friday. Start away at Tooting and Mitcham, which all the opening fixtures from last season have been reversed, haven't they? So, you played them on the opening game last season, didn't you?
We did, yeah. So, yeah, it seems that they really invested in a high-tech bit of algorithm machinery to flip that one round, didn't they? Just basically do the opposite of what we did last year, boys. So, yeah, we had obviously Tooting at home last year, first game. We've got them away this year. So, at the end of the day, you obviously play everyone twice. Nice to get a good start. So, it'd be tough to go there. That's a tough go. I think they'll be up there this year. Always a tough place to go. Nice stadium, though, it's got to be said as well. So, we go there early. I'm not sure if Dulwich still play there, but I know obviously they did last year. So it's nice to go there early because the pitch should be okay as well. It got pretty. I went to watch them play against Marlow last year, and the pitch was not great because obviously got two teams playing at a very wet winter as well last year. So Malden Tiptree as well. I know Brownie really well, the manager there, Wayne Brown. I used to be with him at Watford when I was younger. We signed him from Ipswich. Really, really nice guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing him and saying hello. Played against him as well when he was at Colchester. And you wouldn't believe it, would you? We arranged a pre-season friendly on the 29th, and then all of a sudden, bosh, we get each other in the FA Cup. What's the chances of that? So I wish them sort of odds came up when I'd done the lottery every week. You know what I mean? So, but no, football-wise, it conspired against us for that game. But we've got them in a couple of weeks. But talking to him again, it's just a different landscape now, though. Do you know what I mean? He's telling me their wages have been slashed. If you like, the budget's been slashed a lot. I think he had 3 players for the first day of pre-season. A lot of players have gone elsewhere. I think 2 of his strikers have gone to Wealdstone. Obviously playing higher. They were 14 points clear of the Isthmian North Division last year when it got curtailed. So, it's just a different landscape now, really. Do you know what I mean? So, I think we're in an okay place to sort of bat, to be competitive because we were never built on finance.
Yeah.
And
all you can ask for in the FA Cup is a home draw, isn't it? Really.
And a win.
of course, yes. Yeah.
And a win.
Yeah. Pete, anything that you wanted to come up with and ask Ben?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Ben about the fans. I see that you released details of a season ticket, and I was just really impressed how people stayed with you and bought into the philosophy. They bought into the project, didn't they? And hopefully, you'll carry that forward again this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit of a twofold project, isn't it? I mean, you've got on the pitch, obviously, which is really important, and you've got off the pitch as well, which is really important. So it's trying to coincide them together and push them forwards. Look, everything's done with good intentions, as I said to you before, and the club is 112 years old, roughly started where it is. It's got falling infrastructure, the stands, not great. You've got leaking roofs everywhere. You've got a clubhouse that was only ever designed to be temporary, still there, however many years later. So you throw it all in the mix, but, there's a charm about it as well. And the fans, I've got to say, look, been fantastic, really have. And I think it's good that you guys as well help us communicate in terms of what we're about, who we are. Gives a bit of a personality to just names. And I think people can see the endeavour and the hard work that goes into running the place and, having your head down toilets and things like that, cleaning things, any maintenance jobs that need doing. Colin is always there. I try and help him as much as I can, certainly in the summer, we're sweating our absolute nuts off, if you like, doing various jobs around the place. So our intentions are good, and I think if you show in my football career, I was always quite well received by my home fans, if you like, clubs I played for, because I bought into it. I cared. You know, when I moved to Shrewsbury, I bought a place there. I lived in the town. I cared about the club. I still do now. Obviously, I look out for the results every week, and same when I was at Aldershot as well. Same thing. You know, I really cared about the club, and I like to show that with my performances, not telling everybody how much I cared, but just with my actions. And I think that, look, our actions are, we want to make this a great club, and really progress it, with the community in mind, and bring them along for the ride, something they can be proud of as well. So we won't rest until we get there, basically, you know, however long it takes. And but we will get there, because you can't stop someone who never gives up.
I mean, I think, you know, from speaking to you and, you know, several times, you know, seeing you after games and stuff like that, we can definitely tell how much you care, Ben.
You probably saw me crying half the time.
There were good bits as well, and we know how much everybody cares, and I think it's great. It's great to see. It's great to get behind those young players and the project, and for us to actually, almost as a kind of radio show, to be involved at the beginning. It's great for us as well, because, you know, we feel we're a little bit on the journey with you, which is great for us.
Thank you very much. No, I really appreciate you having me on, and you know, your communication, and I love the show. I think it's really good. I think there's going to be more of an appetite for things like this as well. I've got to say, you know, going forward, I mean, you know, we've got Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham on the doorstep, if you like, Watford as well a little bit. You know, if they're going to restrict supporters going there, then come down to your local club, come and support your local team. You know, we're trying to play the right way. We're trying to play an entertaining brand of football, trying to win. As well, not just going to smash it up in the air and run after it. So hopefully we were trying to appeal to people that actually, do you know what, look, get behind this. Because for me as a football fan, we're all football fans. For me, I'd like to see a club have a clear identity, a clear vision, a clear pathway, which is something I can buy into. I think if that vision is sort of told and explained and then shown, I can go with it. You know, a little bit like I'm a Tottenham fan, obviously. And, you know, when we had Pochettino, I could see what we were trying to do. Not quite sure what we're trying to do now, but I could see it, I could buy into it, and it's the same here. And, you know, with people like Nick Hayes, you know, you want to see him on TV. Hopefully Salford, you know, they're quite a high profile club, obviously, with their connections to the class of '92. You want to see him go and play on TV, so you go, I saw him start off when he's conceded 9 against Westfield on that September day. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, obviously you want to blank that one for your mind, but my point is that you want supporters to obviously enjoy themselves with a good brand of football, winning football, and enjoy seeing players develop and hopefully push on, and they can say, yeah, he started off here, and they can almost wear that with a bit of pride on their shirt, sort of thing, and say, no, we're that club, we're going to be a progressive club that brings something back to the community and to players as well.
I think you've just summed up what's great about non-league football. Ben, thanks a lot for joining us, and best of luck, of course, for the season. We'll be down there, hopefully, to see you against Welwyn Garden City, and most certainly looking forward to the FA Cup tie against Malden and Tiptree. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks very much, guys. Take it easy. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Ben for that chat. Absolutely fantastic to catch up with him, and as always, great chat and very informative as well. Pete, you feeling peckish?
Oh, yeah, I definitely am, you know. Mentioned fish and chips in the first half, but I tell you, it's nothing like one of these.
This is East Herts Radio, 90 minutes, Donut of the Week.
Okay.
Right, so donuts from last week. Eddie Hearn, obviously we asked you all to vote from last week, and he got your vote for last week's donuts. Pete, you've got some nominations. Do you want to start off? Because I've only got one this week.
Okay, I've actually got 3, and the first one goes to the Department of Health and Social Care, because they have confirmed that no kit is permitted to display the NHS logo from tomorrow, branding or initials, as they are all trademarks owned by the Secretary of State. A concession has been made for shirts procured by the 31st of August, today, to display "Thank you, NHS," but after that, you've had it. You've gone for NHS on your shirts. I could go on. I could go on and on about this, so I won't. But I think it's crazy. I mean, last year, 50% of Premiership clubs during last season had betting companies on their shirts. I know they get paid for it, but non-league clubs can't say thank you to the NHS. What's that all about?
Pete, I don't know. I saw this. We spoke about this on Saturday, and I think we could fill 90 minutes on its own talking about that one.
So that's number one. What you got?
Well, Pete, how many donuts have we actually got?
Oh, okay.
I want to nominate 11,000 people.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go back a couple of Sundays ago to the Champions League final, and there was 11,000 people that tuned in via a stream. I don't know if it was a legal one or an illegal one or whatever, but they was actually watching a rerun of a game between Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain from 2017. They didn't even question the fact that Frank Ribery and Arjen Robben, etc., were playing for Bayern, or the 75,000 people inside the stadium. And they actually watched the 90 minutes of the game and thinking this is the Champions League final. I mean, yeah. 11,000 donuts.
I don't think they'd be clever enough to own the box, would they? That might be a problem. Right, 11,000 donuts coming their way. Nomination number 3 goes to Wolverhampton Wanderers with the question, is Wolves' new away kit the worst of all time? That is something fans are saying on social media after the latest release last Friday reveals a kit from, well, you're going to have to look at this one because it is, well, edgy blue and white, it says. I call it a mess, actually, but it's been designed by Grammy Award-nominated producer and recording artist SX, UFC fighter Jay Herbert, Wolftown skateboarders Henry Fox and James Brewer, and Team GB snowboarder Gabe Adams. The fans' reaction, the best one I've found, is, okay, guys, you've had your fun. Now, where's the real one? So why on earth do we get skateboarders, recording artists and UFC fighters designing football shirts?
I've got no answer to that, Pete, I'm afraid.
Absolutely not.
I'll have to check it out. I've not seen that. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I've got to be careful, I'll tell you, when you see it. You won't miss it, that's for sure. And the final nomination this week goes to Chicago White Sox fan Paul Garrett, who purchased 100 cardboard cutouts of himself so he could be seen in the stands cheering on his team from above the visitors' dugout at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cutouts were $49 each, though to be fair, proceeds go to charity. And when things are back to normal, the club has said it will return all the cutouts to their owners. So he's just bought 100 cardboard cutouts of himself, which the Chicago White Sox are going to send back to him. What is he going to do with them?
I hope he's got a big garage and big pockets as well.
And big pockets, indeed. Yeah. So there are our nominations for Donut of the Week. The Department of Health and Social Care, 1,000 fans who watched the 3-year-old football game but didn't realise, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Paul Garrett, the man who is about to receive 100 cardboard cutouts of himself. They'll all be up on the Twitter poll, so give us your votes, and next week we'll announce who's the winner.
Excellent. Pete, fancy some women's news and results from this past week?
Most definitely.
Okay, now I'm going to open up. I spoke to John Wood from Herts Vipers during the week. He did send me a match report from their game on Thursday, which I'll come to in a minute. And he said, how do you fancy an exclusive? Okay, so I was like, of course, we'd love something. And I know it is actually up on their Twitter feed. They put it up on their Twitter feed yesterday, but they have got a real kook signing. They've signed Kelsey Gibson from Luton Town, and he says she was arguably their best midfielder last season. She started her career at Luton. She went to MK Dons. She spent 5 years at Chelsea, where she progressed to their reserve side. She moved to London Bees, where she obviously knows Gary Bailey from. She made it into the first team there, playing in the Women's Championship. And she actually had a few mental health problems, took a year out, and then went back to Luton for last season. This pre-season, she contacted Gary again about playing for Vipers, and she actually played for Luton against Vipers a couple of years ago. And also, get this, Pete, right, remember, this is Herts Vipers. She's got 5 Scotland under-17 caps.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like some signing.
I think that's going to be an absolutely fantastic signing for them. And so let's go on to some results from them. And on Thursday, Herts Vipers, they played Bedford Town ladies. And John did send me a match report. He said we played away versus Bedford Town. Incredible game with Vipers creating several good chances in the first half and rattling the crossbar. But the home side had a 1-0 advantage at the break. In the second half, Bedford put Vipers under a lot of pressure, forcing several excellent saves from our new keeper, Maisie Threadgold. Now, I know AJ is still recovering from her broken arm. She broke that literally, I think it was about the first training session of pre-season. With about 30 minutes to go, Vipers' fitness showed. And guess who was on target to level it at 1-1, Pete?
Oh, I think it could have been. Well, yeah, but you're not going to get any more champagne by just scoring one, are you? You know, she needs to get more.
No, Nikki Jancy, only got one. In the closing minutes, Vipers piled on the pressure and Nikki Jancy tested the Bedford keeper a number of times. But it was substitute Rachel Wall who grabbed a late winner with a powerful strike from the edge of the box to make the final score 2-1 to Herts Vipers. Also on Thursday, Harton United, they had an away game against Letchworth Garden City Eagles. Dan Aiken, Ellie Burke with 2 and 2 assists. Becky Scola and Charlie Handley got the goals. And today, Biggleswade United ladies, they played Herts Vipers Development. Biggleswade won 3-0. Watton ladies had a game, but I've not been able to find a result there. And a bit of sad news, or a bit of bad news here, Pete. Watson Park ladies, they were playing Raid ladies. I don't know a result there, but that doesn't matter. Unfortunately, Chloe Clay got injured.
Oh, dear.
An ambulance was actually called. She was put on a stretcher. I know she was taken to the Lister Hospital and had x-rays. So, Chloe, we really, really do wish you all the best. Hope everything's okay, and we look forward to seeing you back on the pitch soon.
Yeah, definitely. All the best, Chloe. Fingers crossed for you.
That's all the fixtures I've got for now, Pete. And should we move on to next week?
Let's move on to next week. The real stuff starts tomorrow. The FA Cup extra preliminary round at playing at Watson Park, Hoddesdon Town against FC Clacton, Sawbridgeworth at home to Romford. That'll be an interesting one. And Ware go to Southend Manor, which first ever meeting between the two teams. Southend Manor, who did reach the fourth qualifying round in 2011-12 when they took out some notable opponents, Cheshunt, Romford and Chertsey. They beat in their run on that occasion. So not a match for Ware to take lightly, but you would expect them to go through. And, the other two clubs, well, home advantage and fingers crossed. And if we move on to same day when Welwyn Garden City under-23s have got a friendly against Tring Corinthians. And as we heard from Ben Hurd a little bit earlier, Coggleshall United against Hertford Town. Coggleshall United, that's the team owned by Ollie Murs, isn't it, I think?
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's something to do with
it.
So half-time entertainment will be interesting for Ben, wouldn't it? So
get him on the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to Wednesday, FA Cup extra preliminary round, Baldock Town against St Margaret's-Bury. This one's being played at Arlesey Town's ground. So a bit of a test for the Saints. Moving on to Saturday, when Hertford against Welwyn Garden City. Fingers crossed that one's going to go ahead, as Ben was telling us a little bit earlier. Heybridge Swifts against Ware, both friendly games, but the Essex Senior League is off and running. All three teams, strangely, first weekend of the Essex Senior League, they're all away as well. Hoddesdon at Cockfosters, St Margaret's-Bury at Enfield, and Sawbridgeworth against Southend Manor. In the reserve division, Sawbridgeworth home to Grays, and in the Essex Olympian League Division 5, Roydon playing AS Rawreth Reserves. So that's the look of the week, and it's starting the friendlies have been good, but hey, we got some real action coming up this week.
We have, and then on Sunday we've got Women's FA Cup as well, Pete. So we've got Hartham Ladies, they're visiting St Ives Town. Herts Vipers, they're away to Coney Heath. And also, to continue the theme of the week, Hoddesdon Town Owls are away to Rayleigh Town Ladies.
I don't know why, but why do not people want people playing around here? I don't know what's going on with all of this. But
that's it. We've got so many away fixtures this coming week, haven't we?
Loads and loads of travelling to be done. Talking of which, we'll be travelling out the door shortly, because 90 minutes has flown by again. Thanks to Ben, always a pleasure to catch up with him. And we'll be catching up with you with live football next Saturday, hopefully on 90 Minutes Live. Hertford against Welwyn Garden City from the Park. Be good to get down there for the first time this season. And then we'll be back doing this all again next week.
Lovely. Thanks, Pete. And I'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks for listening, everybody. See you soon.
Cheers. Good night.
Cheers.